So Riot Games and Fortiche decided to run back all of the trauma that we experienced when we were watching Arcane the first time, and 3 months later they've decided to hit us with a bomb, which is actually just a time bomb, the Jinx Ekko music video. We're going to be looking for any symbolism from the show, anything that you guys might have missed. I love breaking down Arcane and other series, other anime. I love reviewing stuff. So yeah, let's take a look at Meillure, Ennemie. I'm not French, guys, so forgive me if I butchered that.
C'est la meilleure chose qui m'est arrivée.
Just off jump, even the intro sequence is just so sad because the two are not facing each other. There is a rift between them. They're facing their backs to each other. Where are we in the Arcane timeline? We can tell by Jinx's hair this is just before she wants to off herself. Or rather, just after Ekko saves her from offing herself. So that's where we are in the timeline. After Ekko says, what did he say? He said,
no matter what happened in the past, it's never too late to build something new.
Let go of what's behind us. We have to look forward. Something like that. So yeah, it's after he said that.
C'est la meilleure chose qui m'est arrivée, mais aussi la pire chose qui m'est arrivée.
We can still see how terrible the conditions from her jail cell are by just looking at her legs and her feet. She's like bruised. It looks like there's not even blood flowing to that part of her body. Also, the confetti or the sparkly glittery, also the confetti in the background is the same confetti that we saw in the party scene in episode 7 where Ekko and Jinx dance together.
Ce jour où je t'ai rencontré, j'aurais peut-être préféré que ce jour ne soit jamais arrivé. La pire des bénédictions, la plus belle des malédictions.
Wow, this is so this tugs at my soul, man. So of course we see the firelights on her face, that's why I paused. But yeah, just her being backgrounded and somewhat paralleled by her parallel universe is also doing a lot. It's a really emotional piece and they kept it very simple as well.
De toi je devrais m'éloigner, mais comme dit le dicton, plutôt qu'être seul, mieux vaut être mal accompagné. Tu sais ce qu'on dit, sois près de tes amis les plus chers, mais aussi encore plus près de tes adversaires. Mais ma meilleure ennemie, c'est toi.
Yo, are they both French now? Is that the language they've been speaking the whole time in Runeterra? Alright, let's run it back a bit. Damn, this is so sad, bro. This is like, it's literally what the song says, you know, that feeling of falling in love with your enemy, i.e. someone who's bad for you. I think people can relate more with the feeling of falling in love with someone who's just in a different universe to you, or just doesn't fit with your current lifestyle, or that you just have beef with. I think those emotions, love and hate, they're so close to each other, and that's what makes these characters so captivating to watch on screen. You kind of feel something that you can relate to.
Pourquoi ton prénom me blesse quand il s'écarte?
This is so sad, bro. The reason why I think the concept of Jinx floating away is so sad is because in the last episode when Ekko pays tribute to someone, he probably writes Jinx or Powder's name on that paper, and then that paper gets lit up and it also floats away into the sky. There's a lot more symbolism on that we'll talk about later, but that's the first piece of this floating thing that I think is really tragic. Alright, so we are getting a classic Arcane parallel, and this is a parallel to the time when Ekko straight up saved Jinx's life. And this is somewhat a dream scene or a flashback to that moment. Basically what we're seeing is the symbolic language of that scene, the symbolic representation.
Mais ma meilleure ennemie c'est toi. Suis-moi. Le pire c'est toi et moi. Mais ma meilleure ennemie c'est toi. Suis-moi. Le pire c'est toi et moi.
I think one of the most sad details about all of this is how close Jinx and Ekko were to a perfect reality or a better reality. And it makes you think, like, you can really miss your person, your opportunity, your life, your goal. You can really miss something by maybe a second or just a small butterfly effect event. Like a butterfly dies somewhere in Hawaii and that changes the entire course of your beautiful life and it throws you into tragedy. I think that's messed up. Okay, so Jinx floating up and being saved by Ekko was such beautiful symbolism, and we've seen this before. The first scene that it makes me think about is when Soko's dragging Jinx down into the water and she has to kind of let go of Soko and let him sink to the bottom where all of the death is, right? And she has to learn how to live, but she doesn't know how to live. So her life stays in the stagnant state, which is the water she's surrounded in. She's in the stagnant state, just floating in the water. She's kind of just stuck there until she gets saved by Ekko, who is essentially lifting her up by reversing time. Whenever you see Jinx or Ekko falling, it's a very bad symbol for these two characters. We know that these two characters are very tied and interlinked to the sky and creatures that fly. We have the Firelights who ride on hoverboards and they literally have the bug, the Firelight, that flies in the sky. Jinx has been tied to doves, she's been tied to ravens before, she's been tied to a literal wind deity called Jana. So there's a lot of wind and sky symbolism around these characters. So when we see them falling down, it's never a good thing. The scenery of her being pulled up by Ekko reversing time is also amazing, because I'm not sure you remember this, but you remember when we were watching and Jinx kind of dodges that tendril that's coming down, and that tendril ends up being the tendril that Victor needed to put Ekko in paradise. And because that tendril misses Jinx when she dodges it, she essentially saves Ekko's life. And then Ekko floats up, and because he was uplifted by Jinx doing that, you know, she gives him a shot to save the world. It's a very strong parallel, and if you really pay attention to these characters, you'll see those sky references all around these two characters. I mean, hell, Jinx even has the sky tattoos on her. So, yeah. Oh my god. And that's the moment, right? That's the time bomb moment that solidifies it. I don't know what the feeling is here. Like, part of me is really I can't use the word happy. I think I'm satisfied. I think I'm relieved that, okay, this chapter is closed. They don't really have to keep beating the drum on this. We get it. They are official. It's a canon thing. Time bomb is 100% great. So I finally have that closure. I don't need to see like 200 deleted scenes. It would be cool to see some deleted scenes, but I don't need to see them anymore. We finally have closure in this moment, but it's also just, you know, it's really sad that this is probably the last time we get these characters paired like this. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, this is somewhat the end. I thought we got the end long ago, so this is a bit better than where we ended off. And that's the new Arcane music video. What did you guys think about this? How are you guys feeling? I think this yo, this is heavy, man. For me, this one, it was a bit heavy. Anyway, this is Loy signing off. Peace.